Okay, so a rear brake job on a Impreza. Overall, this is probably a 2 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. So you're gonna go ahead and loosen the lug nuts. I like to jack it up from the rear diff just to get the 2 rear tires up at once, but you can definitely do one side at a time with the pinch welds. Just lower the car slowly and chalk the front tires. Then remove the wheel. You can go ahead and compress the piston now. I like to do it because it's a lot easier to do it while everything's together versus trying to balance the caliper in your hand and compress the piston. It also will let you know if you have a seized caliper early before you get too deep into the job. These caliper bolts are going to be 14 millimeters. They shouldn't be too tight. Just go ahead and place the caliper on the upper control arm. And you should be able to just pull the pads off. These bigger bracket bolts are going to be 17 millimeters, and there's quite a lot of torque, so either use a breaker bar or a longer wrench here. Go ahead and remove the bracket. If the rotor sticks to the hub, you can go ahead and thread in a couple bolts here and it'll push the rotor off, but in my case, mine just fell off. You're gonna wanna clean up this surface because you're gonna need that to be flat so you don't get any pulsation issues when you put the new rotor on. And it's also optional to add a light coat of anti-seize if you live in the Rust Belt. You're gonna transfer this plug over to the new rotor. Some rotors are coated in oil to stop them from rusting. If yours is this style where it's dry and it has like a painted coating, then you don't need to clean it off. Otherwise, you use brake cleaner and a rag and just clean off that oil off the friction surface. I'm gonna go ahead and clean these slider pins out. Try to clean the inside of the bracket as well. A lot of people forget to do this, but it's not overly critical as long as you can get the slider pins moving freely. I probably added too much on this first pin, but it can cause that pin to lock up. You just want to have a small amount on the pin. Go ahead and replace your tins if your pads came with it. And it's important for this step to clean under where the tins sit because it allows the pad to have just the right amount of room to slide, but not so tight that they get jammed up and seize. You can go ahead and bolt everything back up. These should be torqued to around 100 foot-pounds. I'm just showing the other side here. So these pads only come with one squealer, which should be located on the right rear on the inboard pad. Pads should slide in without any effort. If you're getting resistance, then usually it means the pads were either manufactured too big so you can file down the pad ears, or you didn't scrape off enough of the rust from the bracket. Go ahead and install the caliper, and you can torque these slider pin bolts to around 20 foot-pounds. At this stage, you can go ahead and pump up the brake pedal just to make sure everything seats correctly before you start driving, and simply install the wheel, torque it to 90 foot-pounds, and off you go. Just double check your work here because brakes are very important, obviously. So yeah, just go over everything and make sure you're good to go.